All right, I am out here in the field with the vine beater. I haven't started yet. Just pulled into this first field. We've got the new screen on there. Well, not new, reinforced. And then we have this is a new house vine beater. So I'm just in the middle of getting it set up because we had to change a few things because when we hooked it up, it didn't want to go. So what I'm adjusting right now is this top link right here. So I'll go show you that. So with this vine beater, what you don't want is, see how these tires are like really smashed? There's no air in these tires. So they're just there to kind of seal off the top a little bit, but you don't want to have so much pressure on them that it ruins the tires. I learned that last year. So what I'm in the middle of doing is pulling this top link in. I use a pipe wrench instead of this little, it does come with a little thing that goes on it, but it doesn't work very good. Pipe wrench works better. So I'm just sucking this in, so the weight of this will be on the tractor and just a little bit of weight will be on the tires, because we don't want to ruin these tires that we just put on. We just put all these new tires on this year, except for that pair. That was good. So we had to replace all the rest of them. So I'm in the middle of raising this top link, sucking it in. You can see where it was last year, that dark spot. That's where it was last year. So we're just putting it back to where it was. That should be good. And obviously, like, I have it down way too far right now just to take weight off of it. It'll be lifted up a little bit, but I'm gonna get this set and then I'll go inside the tractor and I'll adjust to make sure these don't go down as far as to where they're touching the ground. Because what we don't want is we don't want the paddles to be hitting the ground, because then you start flipping rocks. You can see all the rocks right there. You don't want to hit the rocks. So I'm gonna adjust it so it's just probably about 1 inch, 2 inches off the ground, and then we should be good. But just doing a little bit of adjustment before we start going down these rows. I think I got it adjusted. So what I'm looking for is now all the weight is on the tractor, just a little tiny bits on the tires. But I mainly want this to be level, the edge of that machine. And then when I go to look under here, I want to see that my paddles are not touching the ground. So we're gonna go give it a test and see how close we are. I don't want to be flinging rocks, ideally. But you can also see that these tires are just barely on the ground. They won't turn, but they're also not smashed where it's going to destroy the sidewall. All right, I think I have it set. I had to adjust this is right here is my 3-point, that's 72. That's the height of my 3-point. So it goes from 100, it goes 150 down to 0. So I don't want to go all the way to 0 because then I start hitting the ground. And you can see I've done a little bit over here, and it's chopping pretty good. The main reason for this is all of this foliage, all the leaves. The leaves, if we go through and dig this, because we dig green, so we don't kill them. But all these leaves, if we don't chop them, the potatoes, when the crossover comes through, it'll dump the potatoes in one of these rows for the harvester to come through. Well, all of these leaves, the potatoes will sit on top and it won't shake them through the leaves to drop through onto the belt. So that's why we started chopping. So the chopper comes through and it cuts, there's probably about, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of the vines left. But the main thing is it takes all the leaves off, except for a couple. You can see there's still a couple leaves over there. But it goes from this very, very thick foliage to almost no foliage. And I'm not touching the ground, so it's not digging in and it's not hitting the rocks or anything, but it's taking all the leaves off. That way when we come through, all the potatoes will just drop right through all the little vines that are still there, and we won't end up leaving hardly any potatoes in the field. Okay, I got out so you can kind of see. So you see how thick all this foliage is and vines. You really can barely even see where the rows are. If we come back here, unchopped, chopped. So it leaves some of the foliage, like right down here, down in the middle, but you can see that, like this one, it just chopped that stem off. It's only about 2 inches long. And like this one, it was laying down flat, so it chopped a couple of the pieces off. There's still a little bit of foliage on the end, but that's way down in there. All this foliage, it's like there's one that's still attached. It just has a few little leaves. For the most part, the foliage just gets shredded like that. But the flails are not touching the dirt. So you can see right here, it chopped that one. It's chopping pretty good, but it didn't chop this one, which is laying right next to the dirt. Didn't chop that one, but it doesn't have a whole lot of foliage on it. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to chop the vines that have the leaves on them, where we'll leave anywhere from 2 inches to 10 inches of vine. Like this still has quite a bit of vine on it, but that's not going to hold up any potatoes. They'll just fall right through. So that is the main job of this machine, is to just chop the foliage off, some of the vine, so that the potatoes can fall through. Back we are most of the way across this field. We've done all that. It's beaten down pretty good. So we beat the vines 4 days before we dig, and that gives time for all the leaves and everything that have been beat to kind of die and wither and wilt. So I just have a little bit left to do over here, but this thing's been doing an awesome job as usual, and I haven't broken a window, so that's always a plus. But it's always a little nerve-wracking when you can hear it hit the ground and rocks start flinging and hitting the fenders up underneath, and it's like, oh crap, we're gonna break a window. But I've done a pretty good job at building my protective cage here. So I didn't break a window last year, and I've added more to it this year, so I definitely shouldn't break one this year. And we also shouldn't wear the tires out, because the first half of last year I didn't really know how to run this thing. Nobody told me, even the guys who dropped it off didn't tell me the right way to run it. So now we're running it the right way, and we shouldn't wear the tires out. Well, I hit something. It sounds like a bag. It's just flapping around. So let's go open it up and see what we've got. I suspect it's in this one. Let's see what we've got. Ugh. Yep. Piece of silage bag. Should come off pretty easy. Makes sense, because there's a bunch of silage bags right here for this dairy that's over here. So just picked up a piece of silage bag. I'm gonna go put it over here in the weeds. All right, let's close this up and we'll keep on going. I don't have much left of this field, just these short rows. Then I got to move to the other field, which is that way about a mile. All right, I just finished the end over there, and I just got to lift it up, move into the other field. There is a thunderstorm behind me though, and it's always a little nerve-wracking driving a tractor through a field with thunder all around. So, I mean, there are things taller like those bins. So I'm not the tallest thing out here, luckily, but still a little nerve-wracking. Well, it's been about a minute since I last saw you guys, and it's already downpouring. So it is really coming down. Luckily, it's coming down at an angle that it's not really hitting the front windshield, but man, it is raining good. We're gonna get a little bit with this storm. Normally it doesn't rain very hard around here, and we don't get big nasty storms, but lately we've been getting some thunderstorms, and it'll downpour for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it'll stop. But I can go in the rain, so it's no big deal for me. Oh, there was some lightning there. Well, I'm going now. This field is actually mostly sand, so it is still raining, but the rain actually makes it easier to go through this soil, so it actually made it a little better. And the vines will chop whether they're wet or dry, so we're going just fine. And just like that, it's sunny again. Storm moved on, and it quit raining, and sun's shining. So we're gonna get this field done today. nighttime. Well, almost. It's still kind of light. We have a thunderstorm over here. It's been fun to watch. Just going down the rows. Luckily, I've got my GPS here to tell me where my lines are at, because when I turn around at the end of the field, I can't really see where I'm at. So it's nice to have the lines to watch. See if we get some thunder here. Oh, there's some. Yeah, I have a storm over here. I also have another thunderstorm over this way. So I've had a nice little show to watch. All right, I just got back to my truck. It's the end of the day. I'm gonna go home. Make sure you go down below and hit that like and subscribe button. And I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.